views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Are you ready to thrive? It is time to take action. Hello, everyone. This is Jen, and you are listening to Thrive by Jen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio. What is the result of thriving? Body confidence, mind fulfillment, and soul synchronicity. Tune in to hear about these elements and the scientifically and spiritually proven action steps to stand in confidence, love from within, be unstoppable in fulfilling your dreams, and create synchronicity so you can flow toward abundance and love. Hear real stories that will inspire you to take action today and be a catalyst for positive change in this world through creating your own Thrive life. Let's do this. Feel empowered and ignite your soul with Thrive by Jen Radio starting now. Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. You are listening to Thrive by Jen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio. I know I say every week how excited I am to be here, but I am. I'm always excited to talk with everyone. And then what's awesome is during the week, I always receive emails and private messages on Facebook about the show and situations that everyone is going through. And I get to talk them through with all of you, and you inspire me. So I'm super excited about that. I want to talk today about heartbreak, and not only heartbreak, but heartache. And it was just a moment. Usually for my shows, I always take what I'm going through and write about them. I mean, that's how my shows come to be, and it's a way for me to share with you and share with you what I go through and how I go through it and what happens and healing from certain situations. But it was interesting because I was the past 6 years, now we're going on 7. They've been huge change years for me. And I know that it's getting me ready for what's coming. And soon in a few weeks, I can share with you all about that. But you know, the change that's coming is huge. It's big. And we need to grow into the roles that we want to play. So it just made sense in my beliefs that heartbreak and heartache is part of this. It's part of the growing process. And so I was inspired to talk about it today. And what inspired me more was, you know, heartbreak, when you look in the dictionary and you read the definition of heartbreak, it's about crushing grief, anguish, or distress. And usually in today's world, when we think about heartbreak or brokenhearted, it is usually the description of someone who has lost someone. It's maybe a failed relationship and a loss of a loved one. So it's more relational. So it's more about our a spousal relationship or a loved one relationship. And I just, when I was going through my most recent heartache, I don't know. I thought it was so much more because I've noticed that there are situations that I'll go through even weekly, and relationships change, situations change. I hope for something to be some way, and it's not. So I felt that there was more heartache that I was growing through and I was healing from and experiencing. And that's the piece that inspired me to talk about this with you today, because I thought it was just so much more than about a huge loss of a loved one, which I too have experienced that. And so I felt like my landscape was very in multiple situations for me to bring this to you today and categorize it more as heartbreak and heartache and what I've been through and what I've done to heal from it. It's, we go through heartache, we go through situations, and I still coach. So I have a lot of clients that we'll often get into a discussion about heartache. And a while back ago, I did a show about having a breakthrough. And what's so important about breakthroughs, one of the components about going through a breakthrough and bringing a breakthrough on is about having a vision. And a vision is how you want something to be, right? It's where you're growing, where you're going. And what came up for me with vision, and as well as what led into the show, was the word disappointment. And that's where I felt compelled to talk about today and bring it into a heartache situation, because what happens with me a lot is I'll meditate, do a lot of my meditating with God. And I was meditating on my heartache situations. And then the word disappointment was downloaded to me. And then how it usually happens is, over the course of the next week or so, I'll usually hear the word that I'm supposed to focus on. And disappointment, the word disappointment kept coming up. And that's what I felt was happening with me, was that I focus on visions and how I want things to grow into. And I also release expectations, though. And we'll talk a little bit about expectations today. But I release those expectations because the how is none of my business. It's a vision for me is about dreaming and action steps and taking action on moving into that vision. And to be honest with you, usually the vision, even with the heartache, usually turns out to be better than I ever imagined. So, but through that though, we suffer disappointment. And in talking to so many clients, what I found is that disappointment sometimes keeps us from creating those visions, right? We don't want to suffer disappointment, and we don't want to go through heartache, and we don't want to go through heartbreak. We don't want to. It's our natural instinct. It's our natural wiring to move away from pain. And so I want to talk about that today. I want to talk about, and why I want to talk about heartache and heartbreak is releasing that disappointment, stepping into that disappointment, healing from that disappointment, and understanding that disappointment, that pain is part of the process. And that pain is part of the process of moving into what we want to move into and where we want to grow, where we want to go. And I just want to speak from a side note for a moment, is that when we lose someone we love, it's a huge heartbreak. It's a huge, huge heartbreak. And when we lose someone that we love, there's also stages of grief that we go through, and that we also should have a conversation about. And it's important for you to know about those stages of grief. So it's a very big topic that deserves a show all on its own. So I'm not going to talk so much about that today, versus our heartbreaks and our heartaches, our daily heartaches, our daily heartbreaks, on our way to becoming who we want to become. And what was interesting about is that when I was doing all my my research for the show, I noticed that heartbreak, when we talk about this, is that it was so geared towards the loss of a loved one, and it was very much about a massive loss. And I think we need to talk about our daily losses. I feel that we need to talk about our daily heartaches, our daily heartbreaks, because this is what we incurred. This is what we incur on our journey, on our road to where we're going. And if we let those heartaches and heartbreaks stop us, it stops us from living. It stops us from achieving things. It stops us from achieving goals. And that's that's a huge piece of the puzzle for having that vision come to be. So I feel that so many people can relate to this. I feel like I'm speaking to someone today that, you're letting heartache stop you. You're letting uh, heartache get the best of you. And what I'd love to share with you today is how I've taken heartache and I make it part of the growing process, part of the learning process. Heartache for me has made me stronger. It's strengthened my faith. It's brought me closer to God. It's shown me a resilience that I I proved to myself that I had. It's a depth of my emotions that I get to experience and that I get to understand. Heartache has helped me understand and learn about myself. And I'll take you through that process, what I do, because it's been, you get to know you. You get to know, from heartache for me, I've learned what I like, what I want, what I don't want, where I'm going. It's allowed me to do course changes. It's allowed me to shift course. If I was going one way and things were starting to happen, I could then shift course and move a different way. So I look forward to sharing with you about heartache and what I've done. And before we dive into it, I just would also like to share that, um, it's pain hurts. It's not. It's some days it's not easy, and some days there are lots of tears, and some days it's hard. And I have released what sometimes ties us up in thinking that life is supposed to be fair. That's not how it works. And so releasing the fairness component of life has allowed me to embrace heartache and almost celebrate it when it's in my life, because I know that I'm growing from it. I'm learning. I'm changing. I'm experiencing moving into a different role that I'm going to play in life. It is making me stronger emotionally. And when we say stronger emotionally, I don't mean there's not an outer shell here. This isn't about heartache. Isn't about armor, And I'll talk more about that in the show, because when I was younger, that heartache was I put armor on, And so this isn't about developing armor or when we say a thick skin, it's more about that heartache and what it does for you and what you do with it. So this isn't about me showing you or teaching you how to put up walls or put up blocks. That's not it at all. And I want to stress that heartache shouldn't be that. So I think sometimes one of the things that we'll talk about is you get your heart broken and you're like, I'm never going to love somebody again because I just don't want to feel that. That's not what this is about. Connection, love, relationships, friendships, situations, growing, new jobs, new roles, new opportunities, old friends, new friends. This is all beautiful, and this is all life, and this is living. So we're going to let that go, and this is not about building armor. So we're going to take a short break. When we get back, we're going to dive in to the steps that I use and the experiences that I've had with healing from heartbreak and heartache. You're listening to Thrive by Jen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio.
Tune in to the Astral Insider, your portal for adventure, insight, and growth with Fernando Albert. And get ready to tour the astral realm, expand your life in ways you've never imagined, and call in for the journey of your life with this world-renowned lucid dreamer, astral projectionist, psychic medium, and healer, Fernando Albert. This is every second and fourth Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
A word of caution: if you prefer the status quo and you are not interested in improving every aspect of your life, this book will trigger the shift out of you. The Truth is Funny, Shift Happens is available now. Author Colette Steffen brings the powerful knowledge and life-changing energy and empowerment from the radio airwaves to the pages of her new book. To get your copy in paperback or ebook, visit thetruthisfunny.com today.
Hi, I'm Jane Matanga with Grow Your Soul Radio. It's been said that whatever you believe, you are. When you take charge with your positive thoughts and beliefs, you are the creator of your perceptions. You have the power to shift your reality. When you begin to shift your beliefs, the universe will dream a bigger dream for you than you ever imagined. Believe in your dreams, and every part of your world can open up in new and glorious ways, because everything is possible. I'd love for you to join me on Grow Your Soul Radio with my co-host, Dr. Pat, on Transformation Talk Radio.
It's time to get your life back on Burn Bright Today with Jennifer Marcinelli. Tune in each month on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Learn to move from the darkness of burning out to the light of burning bright. Jennifer is redefining stress and the energetic causes of burnout, shining a light on process to get your life back. For more information about Jennifer and her work, visit burnbrighttoday.com.
Are you ready to finally feel empowered and knowledgeable in your political stance? Let Marcia Padilla-Goad educate you on exactly how important grassroots advocacy is in a relatable way to all perspectives. Tune in to Grassroots Advocacy Radio with Marcia every first Tuesday of the month at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Visit DynamicsInPublicAffairs.com.
Hey, welcome back. You're listening to Thrive by Jen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio. And today we are talking about heartache and heartbreak and healing from heartaches and heartbreaks. So I want to dive right in and talk about, so when we talk today, I also want to bring a biblical perspective into our conversation today, because I want to do a biblical perspective and a what the world has deemed as a self-help perspective. I want to bring in those perspectives, and that's what's helped me in my journey. And the first thing that I'll say about healing from heartbreak and heartache, what has helped me, is that I've taken the opportunity in my heartaches and my heartbreaks to gain a real understanding of myself. And how I've done that is by, meditating on it. That's a big piece of it. But what I've done is I write the story of the situation of what I'm going through in a third person. I write it in a third person story. So what I do is I write the story out as if I'm someone looking from the outside, from my perspective. And then what I do is I write the story out from someone looking in, from the other person's perspective. And it's not always this isn't about right or wrong. This isn't about, you having to be spot on about your perspective or the other person's perspective. Because what it allows to happen is it allows emotions to go through you. It allows you to get your emotions out on paper, released. It also, when I first started this, and now I can share with you where I've ended up with this exercise, is that it gives me compassion. It gives me compassion and an understanding of what the other person as well could be going through. And it also gives me a moment for myself to calm down about it, to look at it through other lenses, to just see like, oh, this is what I can say now happened. And as I was going through it, I can almost understand that, when I was going through it, I was perceiving it as something different. So it's just been, it's a wonderful exercise. It's helped me so much. And it also helps me to grow, because as I am going through it, as I'm writing, I'm also understanding what it is that I appreciate about the experience, what I've done to grow through it, what I've learned, and too, how I've behaved, and how, we talk a lot about reactions and responses. A reaction is something that's really like, somebody says something to you and that's it, you react. And a response is, you can hear what the person is saying, you can digest it, you can understand their you can have compassion and an understanding of their perspective, and you respond to it. And it's not like an emotion, heated discussion, right? Emotion by emotion, right? You said, then I say, then you say, then I say, and it's this back and forth heated argument. Sometimes what happens. So what it allows, what it's allowed me to do is, I've also learned what I call them triggers. I've also learned what my triggers are. I could see a pattern, right? It helped me realize patterns that were happening in these heartaches. And that's why I like to say the word heartaches and disappointments versus heartbreaks, because heartbreak sounds to be such a big event. And I feel that these smaller events happen almost, gosh, I hope not daily, but if they happen daily, it's a way for you constantly to be learning and growing through them, versus being stuck in them and just sitting idly by and letting them happen, and then you being more upset about the heartaches that are happening. So I was able to identify patterns. So things that people would do that would get a reaction out of me versus a response. And we've talked about this on other shows. I'll bring it up again. It's not my job to control other people. I can change me. I can, if I'm doing a behavior and I realize that something is going on, that I'm not happy with that behavior, that's for me to work on. That's not for somebody else to work on. So, or if somebody is doing something that you've gone through this process of realizing that that's not really what I like in my world, right? Then that's a way for you to set up a boundary. That's a great way for us to learn boundaries and what works and what doesn't work. That was another thing that I would go through these, heartaches, and I could see that, somebody would have a behavior, and it just wasn't something that was acceptable to me in my world. And again, it's not for me to, it wasn't even for me to bring it to their attention unless there was an open dialogue between us, right? Unless they were, if there was an open dialogue between us and we were giving each other the opportunity to share each other's perspective about the situation, then it's a wonderful opportunity for me to say, what was happening when certain behaviors were going on. So writing down, taking the time to do that, I want to bring up that, we live in a very busy society now. We're very busy and lots of things going on, lots of schedules, long hours at work. But this is too important not to do. This is too important not to take the time out and go through and heal from your heartaches. I'll go into what happens next when we don't, and that's another thing that we want to be aware of when we go through this, is that we talked about armor at the beginning of the show. By not going through these emotions, by not healing from them, and sometimes what I found is just acknowledging my feelings to myself. I have a little journal. I'll write down what I'm feeling. That's almost enough to help me heal from it, to help me go through it. And so I can share with you a story that happened when I was a child. When I was a child, I ate my emotions. I never acknowledged what I was feeling. I never acknowledged my heartaches. And it was a very tumultuous upbringing. So there were a lot of heartaches, and I ate. I used food to numb myself. I used food to shove down those feelings and not talk about how I was feeling, what was going on, how I was hurting, how I was sad. And that created a brand new pattern in myself that lasted a long time. I mean, my childhood obesity lasted well into my 20s. And that was all about changing, about getting rid of armor. I apologize. We're going to take a quick short break just so I can get some water. You're listening to Thrive by Gen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio.
Dream on, fly high, and live adventurously on The Laura Meeks Show. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio as host Laura Meeks guides you in finding your unique gifts and bringing them to life. As a certified life coach, speaker, and veteran bomber pilot for the U.S. Air Force, Laura knows how to follow a dream. She is ready to support you so you can dream on, fly high, and live adventurously. For more information on Laura and her work, visit flyhighliving.com.
How would you like increased health and vitality? How would you like to avoid the onset of disease as well as slow the aging process? This is all possible through a simple, safe, and natural process. Every day we are either moving toward wellness or away from wellness.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. I'd like to be your partner in achieving optimal health. Contact me now at maryjanemack.com or call 425-392-0659. Visit maryjanemack.com.
Are you traveling most of your day? Do you want to take Transformation Talk Radio with you anywhere you go? Well, guess what? There's an app for that. Just go to the App Store on your Apple device or the Google Play Store on your Android and search Transformation Talk Radio. Catch all of our live shows no matter where you are. Thanks for listening.
Are you ready to shift your current beliefs about death from debilitating pain and loss? Follow Angie Corbett-Kuiper as she shares that through choice, present moment awareness, and keeping an open mind that anything is possible, even in death. Tune in to Beyond Proof Radio with Angie, redefining death and loss, every first and third Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. For more, visit AngieCorbettKuiper.com.
Like the branches of a tree, universal knowledge, insight, and wisdom must be weaved together to bring forward to others. If you live in the Western Washington area, you will want to make the trip to Auburn and visit the new Alchemy of the Goddesses Center. Now open and offering healing sessions, classes, crystals, books, oils, and more. Find out more about the center. Visit alchemyofthegoddesses.com. That's alchemyofthegoddesses.com.
Demystifying the journey on From Here to There Radio with your host, Diane Garris. Tune in every third Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific Time on TransformationTalkRadio.com as Diane helps you get from where you are now to the life you envision. Get ready to get unstuck and move forward. Every show features a new special segment, New Age Notes, demystifying hot metaphysical topics of the day. For more information or to work with Diane, visit DianeGarris.com.
Hey, welcome back to Thrive by Jen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio. So before my coughing fit, let's dive right back into what I was sharing was that when we're stuffing down our feelings, then that's when the armor, right? That's when the armor starts to come up, as well as one other thing that we need to be aware of about healing with heartache is our self-talk. So let's talk a little bit about that, because self-talk is so important. One of the things that we need to be aware of is that when we're going through heartache and heartbreak, there's sometimes what will happen is our self-talk goes very negative. So let's it's an example of, I thought we were friends. I thought we were such good friends. Maybe I need to be a better friend. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I wasn't this. Maybe I wasn't that. It's a vicious cycle of that negative self-talk. So just be aware. That's why we talked about this on another show, is that always having your I am statements available to you, your I am affirmations available to you, is that it keeps you strong. It keeps your self-talk positive. It keeps your self-talk strong. And also what will start to happen is the more I am statements that you practice, I am positive, I am strong, I am happy, I am joyful, I am loving, I am kind, I am generous. You'll start to be that. That will come out of you. That will grow inside of you. So again, that also helps deal with heartache. And this isn't about a wrong and right situation. It just is a way for you to be more positive, more joyful, more grateful as you go through the heartache process and healing from it. So just be aware of that self-talk. I noticed it was interesting. I just had a situation last week that I don't know. I think I was already, I don't know, I was in a moment of low, like it was just a long week. It was a stressful week. And that too is something that we need to be aware of. And this goes back to what I was saying about writing your story, is that when we write our story, it just allows us to be more in touch with who we are and what makes us tick, what makes us go, what we love, how we behave, what we're dreaming about. It just puts us more in tune with us. And so last week when I was feeling run down and there was a lot going on, and I was able to sense that. And so when a situation came up that it was disappointing to me, I noticed that I was way too quick to go into a negative self-talk situation. And as quick as I went there, I was also quick to bring myself back because I recognized it. I recognized what I was doing. And I just was having a moment of, I really was. I was having a moment of feeling sorry for myself. And again, too, that's not somewhere where we want to go. So knowing that and acknowledging, that I can quickly rebound from it and I can quickly bring myself into the healing process of the heartache. So important for you to recognize that self-talk and to step outside of yourself and hear that self-talk. That's another thing too, that going back to our stories, why that exercise is important and how valuable it is. When I write my stories, right, we talked about I'm writing them from a third person. I'm like a person looking in at the situation. What that's helped me to do is on a daily basis, I can step out and almost observe my feelings. I can observe the situation. I can observe the conversation, and it's just it's so beautiful. It's really wonderful when you can do that. It's almost like watching the story unfold, watching a play, but you're part of the play. So just such a wonderful skill, and just a wonderful exercise for us to develop. Also, in my experience, another thing that I've done for help in healing from heartaches and heartbreaks is eliminating expectations, right? Eliminating expectations, what I expect, how I expect the other person to, and even other people involved, or even, how I expect them to act, how I expect them to respond, how they should act, what they should feel, what they should say, how they should behave. You have to let that go. It is none of your business. We did a show a while back ago on letting go of expectations. If you want to revisit that, I just wanted to pull something up from it that resonated with me, that we had spoken about, and when we talked about letting go of expectations, we had said that others will make the same decisions you would. So letting go of that. So again, that goes back to letting go of, if I'm having a heartache now, maybe it's about a friendship and an argument, and I see my friend out dancing that night. That's none of my business. That's none of my business. That's none of your business. How people deal with things is their business. How people cope and heal and go through, everybody is different. This is about you, right? You are responsible for you. So letting go of the expectations of the other person is huge in healing from heartache. This is, it will also help you with compassion and understanding. It's none of your business how somebody is going through something. And so having a compassion and an understanding for the other person, that they have their own way, that they are entitled to their own way of healing, that boosts your compassion, that boosts your empathy, that boosts your understanding. It's just a great way for you to have a perspective, and that they'll go through things the way that they'll go through, but you're responsible for your healing. You're responsible for how you are responding to the situation. Another thing that I hear often, and this was I think this is very important to today's society and what's going on, is that I hear often throughout my ministry is that heartache and heartbreak comes from people unrealistically expecting that, life is all about unicorns and rainbows, right? That life is just supposed to be great all the time. And what's interesting is, life is great even in our trials and tribulations. And we'll talk more about that, because this is where, for me, what's so important is my relationship with God, my how I bring God into my life, and how he's helped me with healing, is that, we need to be realistic about that life is supposed to be about ups and downs. we grow in our trials. We learn in our trials. If every day was exactly the way that it was supposed to be, exactly wonderful, no bumps and bruises, we're not growing. We're not learning. We're not being pushed, right? It's like, I think you'll hear often about, it's sort of like exercise, right? Exercise is about building the muscle. It's about hurting the muscle and making it bigger and stronger, right? So it's almost like tearing it down so it can build up. That is what our life's journey is about. That's how we grow. That's how we, when I talked about at the beginning of the show about heartache and heartbreak, that's where my resilience came in. When things are easy, I'm not being forced to push myself. I'm not being forced to look at things differently. I'm not being forced to test my resilience. So if we're unrealistic about the ups and downs in life, then those heartaches and heartbreaks are going to hit us even harder. And it's just going to be a more of a process for going through it. So let yourself off the hook and just know that we are going to have trials and tribulations. And that's what that's the way life is. And again, right, it goes back to that life isn't fair. This is, and trials and tribulations can be amazing. They are amazing. It was interesting. I have a friend going through a situation right now with her health, and she was reaching out to others who are in similar situations and who have gone through it and who have healed from it. And, many of them had said, and this is a health scare. And many of them have said that they've just become better people for going through it, and this is a life, and, this is a life situation. This is, life and death situation. So those trials and tribulations are so important. So let go of that. Life is supposed to be smooth sailing. Let's say smooth sailing. We're going to take a quick short break. When we get back, I want to go right back into this because this is so. This has been so integral for me in healing through my heartache and becoming just the person who I want to grow into is these trials and tribulations and what we can take from them, what we can gain from them. So when we get back, you're listening to Thrive by Jen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, I'm Jane Matanga with Grow Your Soul Radio. Life is full of challenges and surprises. Your guidance is to move with the current, for it is in resisting the flow that creates problems. Ask your angels to help you open up your mind and heart to new ideas and fresh options. When you accept the possibility that there are other ways, previously unseen doorways will be open to you and you will move easily through change. There is a solution to every problem, so look at things with eyes of love and expectation. Then your life force will flow freely through you. You will feel healthy and alive and will be able to access the necessary resources and wisdom within yourself to help you through change. I'd love to take this journey with you. Visit my website, enlightened-path.com, so we can explore all that is possible.
This is Debbie Pokornik with a moment for standing in your power. Self-control begins with noticing how different feelings present themselves in your body. When you're feeling sensitive, for example, your chin might quiver, tears might well up in your eyes, and your voice might catch in your throat. Anger, on the other hand, might appear as tension in your jaw, back, or arms, along with clenched fists, heat in the upper torso, scowling, and a strong desire to yell. The more aware you become of your body cues, the easier it will be to recognize when you're on the road to disaster. Choose the emotions that cause you problems, then start noticing and logging the body cues that come with them.
For information and to work with Debbie, visit empoweringnrg.com. That's empoweringnrg.com.
Join the new earth on the Cornelia Stephanie Show. Tune in each month as Cornelia takes listeners on an odyssey of higher consciousness to inspire, educate, and empower. Cornelia Stephanie is a spiritual teacher, passionate speaker, published author, and founder of the Empower Network. Cornelia guides people on the path of self-healing, peace, and liberation. For more information, go to corneliastephanie.com.
Healing beyond symptom management into true wellness with Jessica Dooley on Purely You Radio. Tune in every third Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific as Jessica guides you to find and embrace your purest self. Not the self that is shown on social media, not the self that is created in your family's eyes, but your purest version of you. Purely You Radio supports true wellness, not just symptom management. For more information about working with Jessica Dooley, visit purelyyouhealing.com.
Hey, welcome back to Thrive by Jen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio. Let's dive right back in. Okay, so we are accepting that life is going to be about trials and tribulations, right? Those heartaches are gonna come in there, and they're there for a reason, right? So the earliest biblical record of as heartbreak is in the story of Job. So in the story of Job, just a quick summary is that he basically has everything stripped away from him, right? His health, his family, his worldly possessions. And through it all, he remained faithful. He remained worshiping God. And for me, what I take from that and what I apply in my own life in dealing with my heartache is that God is faithful and good and trustworthy, and he knows the bigger plan. So part of these heartaches has to be about doors closing and other doors opening. And I once, when I was going through something, I wrote about, it's none of my business to open a door that has that God has closed. And so I just want to share how important it is that when we go through these things, it's a trust, and that helps me get through my heartache. That helps me get through knowing that there's something out there. There's a bigger plan, right? And so it doesn't always take the pain away. And again, my trust is that through this heartache, I can be molded into the person I need to become. I can be molded into the identity, right? The role of life that is coming for me. So it's more of an embracing when we go through these trials and tribulations that cause us disappointment, that cause us pain, that cause us, tears. It's for me, I embrace the celebration and I embrace it. And then I take that moment to learn about it. And I know it's so hard, and I know it's so hard to go through something difficult and look at it and say like, okay, what can I learn from this? And it doesn't always happen in that moment. Sometimes it's days later, sometimes I need to have that good cry. And then 3 or 4 days later, I can go back and say like, okay, this is what's going on. This is what I'm learning from it. I shouldn't say that. I'm not going to use the word never because that's not true. I try to stay away from the word why. It's none of my business. It is none of my business why something happens. My belief and my trust come in that it happens the way that it's supposed to happen. So whether it's me needing to grow, maybe it's the other person growing. There's times that I will say that I can give testimony, and I'm happy to share with you when we have more time, is that I have gone through an experience that has not been delightful for me, and I've gained from it. However, I have truly seen how the other person, like, this was meant for them. Like, this was such a great learning opportunity for them. So if we take why out of the equation, then that leaves doors open for us to experience, for us to take in, for us to go through those trials and tribulations. In our final moments, this hour always goes so quick. There's so much more I want to share with you. I want to jump to that there's no shame in feeling heartache and heartbreak. So take time to cry. Take time. Let those emotions run through you. I mean, I spoke earlier about, when I was a little girl, I didn't cry through those emotions. I held them inside. I didn't get them out. And what that turned into was me stuffing my feelings down, and I used food. I used food to deal with that. I ate my feelings, right? And those feelings were from the heartaches that I was experiencing. So there's no shame in it. If you, there have been a few days over the past couple of months where I wasn't willing to give a full day to my heartache, but I was definitely willing to give a couple of hours where I sat, I chilled out, I meditated, I took care of myself, I did some self-care, I pampered myself a bit, and I let those emotions run through me. I didn't want to, when we're so busy, we're so quick to just dismiss and then go on, right? Carry on. I got to carry on. I got to go do this. No, you need to go through this, build up a good rebound. I mean, we don't want to, I don't personally, it's hard for me to give up a few days to a heartache situation. But I certainly deserve it to myself, and you deserve it to yourself, to let those feelings run through you, acknowledge those feelings and know that it hurts, and then look forward to what you're learning from it and what you're growing from it. That's just such a special moment that we can take ourselves through. When we're going through these, right, there's no shame in feeling heartache and heartbreak. And we've even spoken about this on other shows. Your tribe is so important. And this is another one of those moments that it's so important to be surrounded by a supportive tribe. So have those, 3, 4, 5 people that you can go to and say, look, I'm not looking for a solution here. I'm just looking to share my feelings with you. I'm just looking to talk to you. I just want to get this out. I want to talk this through with somebody, and rely on your tribe. So important, so important, and share. Share with, open yourself. You being vulnerable and opening yourself up to others allows other people to open themselves up to you, and we learn a lot from each other. We learn so much from talking with each other, and that's another way to get through heartache. That's another way to know you're not alone, to know that your other people feel the same way. This was really special. It was a special moment, and actually my sons went through this moment too. Two different environments. We were in an environment where it was a presentation where we were talking about feelings, and the presenters, what they had us do is they had people stand up based on circumstances in life, right? So divorce, death, jail, drug addiction, alcoholism. By the end, everybody stood up. So you're not unique, which is a wonderful thing. You're not unique in your heartache. And other people have gone through this. So rely on your tribe. And finally, in closing, I just want to say this. Know the difference between grief and depression. We talked a little bit, where I said at the beginning of the show, that when we suffer such a huge, huge loss, that we we go through the stages of grief. And that's not what today was about. Today is also not about depression. So I just want, though, to bring this up and for you to be aware that there is a fine line, right? When we go through a heartache, a heartbreak, and when that can turn into full-blown depression, or when it can turn into a depression. So in depression, nothing, seems to matter. There's a great sadness in everything we do. You almost can't stop your mind from having those tormenting thoughts. So please reach out for help. Please reach out for help in situations like that. If you're feeling that, it's so important. So, and we can for sure do another show on that, because depression is actually very close to my heart. My father suffered from depression, and it's very serious. So, on that note, I'm so grateful for this time that you share with me, that I get to share with you, because I'll tell you, you helped me heal through so many heartaches and heartbreaks, and I'm so grateful for all of you. So, until next week, you have been listening to Thrive by Jen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio.
Thank you for listening to Thrive by Jen Radio on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Tune in live each Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, as Jen shares the action steps and real stories from people throughout the country that will ignite you to stand in confidence, love from within, and be unstoppable at fulfilling your dreams. For more information, podcast downloads, and to connect with Jen, visit jenniferzellup.com.